Welcome to the Real World focuses on various jobs across Hamilton geared towards students in grade 12 who are deciding on a career path, college and university students, or adults looking for a career change. Today on Welcome to the Real World, I sat down with Kimberly Yateman, a certified prosthesis at the Ron Joyce Center, to chat. Hello and welcome to the Real World. I'm your host, Shannon McKinnon, and we are here today at the Ron Joyce Center where I'm talking to Kim, who is a clinician. So for those who don't know, what is a clinician?
So I am a prosthetic clinician, and what some of my roles entail is assessing, fitting patients with prostheses, coming up with prescriptions for them, doing follow-up visits once they've been fit for their devices, and we're involved in clinics as well when the amputees will come through. So we help out with their care as well.
So what is the day-to-day for you?
Day-to-day is variable. Every day is very, very different. Some days I'm involved in clinics, so I work closely with a team comprised of physiatrists, nurses, physiotherapists, occupational therapists. I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple of them. There's occupational therapy as well.
It sounds like a very social day.
Yeah, it is. And so we all work together in a team environment to help, whether it's someone who's undergone a recent amputation or someone who's coming in for replacement devices. So in clinics, we'll go from patient to patient. Sometimes if there's an issue with the prosthesis, we can fix that quickly. Otherwise, we do follow-up visits with them, or we'll see them as a new amputee and we'll come up with prescription at that time. Other days, I'm fitting prostheses. I'm in the back modifying their devices to fit, getting ready to fit a brand new prosthesis, or following up with how the patient's been doing with the prostheses that they've had on home trials.
Mm-hmm. Now, what is the schooling to become a clinician?
So right now, you need to have an undergraduate degree. There's a couple of specifications that are better than others, mostly kinesiology, engineering, like just a regular Bachelor of Science. Any kind of degree with a medical background helps as well. And so once you've had that, you can apply to one of two schools. There's one in Toronto, George Brown College, and one out in British Columbia called BCIT. And those are the only two that accept applications. You'll do 2 years of clinical school, and then you'll go into the workforce where you will be a resident for 2 years. You write certification exams, and once you pass those, you're a fully certified prosthetist.
Now, what are some of the challenges of the job?
Challenges, there's a lot of problem solving. Sometimes you'll see an injury or a wound or an area that's the skin doesn't necessarily look the way it's supposed to look, and so you have to figure out why it's looking that way, whether it's the prosthesis that's causing the problem or whether it's something medical. And oftentimes you're looking at trying to look at the whole picture to try to make sure that the patient's going to take their leg home and they're not going, or their arm home and they're not going to injure themselves, because that can cause further delays in the fitting. It can cause them to be hospitalized. There's obviously a lot of issues with that. So you want to prevent that, and that's the big challenge, is sometimes trying to figure out what it is that's causing these issues.
So, say I'm in grade 12,
Yes.
I'm thinking of getting into the career path. What would be your advice to students?
Volunteer. If you can get into a clinic or into like a prosthetic facility somewhere that you can volunteer, just to get some hands-on experience. It's a pretty physical job, so being able to get into the environment, get that hands-on experience, it'll really give you a good idea of what you're getting yourself into and the types of day-to-day tasks that you're going to be doing. Because it's an interesting career, but you really got to make sure that this
is for you.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Mm-hmm. What do you find most rewarding about the job?
There's a couple things. My favorite part, I think, is when you're seeing a patient walk for the first time, or when they're putting on a new upper extremity device and they're grabbing at things and doing tasks that they weren't previously able to do for the first time. It's those first time experiences that I find the most rewarding. Problem solving, when you find out the answer to something you've been investigating for a while, it's just super satisfying.
Yeah, and seeing the excitement in their eyes when you know that they can walk because they've been waiting.
Yeah.
Well, Kimberly, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I followed Kim around for a day to really understand a typical day of a certified prosthesis. I got to observe her in the gym working with a patient and the consult that follows.
Once a prosthesis has been built and we have an initial setup for the patient to try, or if we've made some adjustments, whatever it may be, I'll bring the prosthesis back into our gait area, usually between two parallel bars. So if we're doing anything new, we have bars that they can safely try out the prosthesis. So if they feel unstable, it's easier with the parallel bars here in place. So if I were fitting Tyler for the first time, the first thing I would do is check his skin. I want to get a good visual of what things look like before we get started. Then I'll have him put the prosthesis on. In sitting, we'll do a couple of quick checks to make sure that everything's comfortable. At the end of the day, you want patient safety as your primary concern. So you want to make sure that you're going to get up and standing and nothing's going to be pinching or it's going to be hurting anywhere, because we don't want that. So once the prosthesis is on, so it's all on right now. So I'll have you stand up for me right now, Tyler. Now we've already done all of our alignment and our fitting, so I know the socket fits well and appropriately. I know that we have enough socks on, that we're sitting where we're supposed to be sitting inside the socket. So once I'm satisfied with that and I get my patient upstanding, we'll do a static alignment. Static alignment is just how the prosthesis is aligned while they're standing. And I want even pressure through both, and I'll go through various checks to make sure that how he's transmitting his weight through the prosthesis is appropriate. We don't want the leg to be sticking out at a funny angle. We don't want there to be any crazy gait deviations. If we see a big deviation, this is more energy for you to walk. It might not be comfortable. You could be putting a strain on the joints, and we don't want any of that. We want you to be stable, confident, and comfortable. So once I've done all of my static checks, I will get you to walk for dynamic alignment. So I'll move out of your way and I'm gonna watch you walk. So you can go ahead. Now I'll always check. This is gait analysis, and I will always check his walking patterns in two planes, sagittal and frontal. Sagittal is this side plane right now. You can keep walking. And what I'm looking for is, there's a lot that I'm looking for. I'm looking as he's got his foot on the ground. I want to make sure that the ankle and the knee and everything is bending the way it's supposed to bend. And I want to make sure that the prosthesis is swinging properly through swing phase. I don't want him to trip, so I don't want him to foot to drag. There's a big checklist of gait alignment that we're looking for to make sure that he's walking as efficiently, as effectively as possible. So the other way I'll check gait alignment, or we'll do gait analysis, is we'll check the alignment in the frontal plane, and that's the front on plane. So when I'm looking at Tyler dead on, and I'm checking the alignment, the orientation of the foot, the knee. Again, I want to make sure that there's no gross deviations. I don't want to see that his knee is swinging out either way. I want the prosthesis to be aligned as neutral as possible so that when he's walking, it's not throwing him off balance. Once I'm satisfied with how everything looks, do you feel comfortable leaving the bars, Tyler?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll have him leave the bars. Now, every patient's different. Some people require canes, some require walkers. So with Tyler, he doesn't need anything at all to walk at this point in time. So I will also watch him walk outside of the bars. Again, in those same two planes, frontal and sagittal. And we've already done all of our alignment process, so I know it looks appropriate for Tyler. Once I'm happy with the alignment, I'll bring the leg into the back, make sure that all of my screws are screwed in tightly, sorry, and we'll do all of that to the manufacturer's settings. I'll bring it back out, and then I'll check Tyler's skin as well. So at the beginning, I checked it to have a good baseline information of what his residuum looks like. Once I'm satisfied, we've taken it off, we're looking at his skin again. There's no big red areas or areas that look like they're taking a lot of pressure where they shouldn't. That's when I will put the prosthesis back on him and he can go home. It's the end of the appointment.
If you're interested in becoming a certified prosthesist yourself, according to my research, there's a 2-year diploma at George Brown College and is the only technical training program in prosthesis and orthotics in Canada. For this particular program, you only need a high school diploma to qualify. However, if you have an undergraduate degree, you may also want to look into the British Columbia Institute of Technology for prosthetics, but you must be a resident in Western Canada. Thank you so much for watching Welcome to the Real World this season. Be sure to check out earlier episodes on Cable 14 and Cable 14 Now.
Be just who you wanna be, do it all successfully. Welcome